if they want to.
And welcome to Let 'Em Talk. I'm Paul DiRienzo. We have a great show in store for you. My guest is Cristina Fontanelli, who is a beautiful name, by the way.
Thank you.
And who is a singer and an opera singer, well, an entertainer, really, in many ways. And we're going to hear and see some of her work and talk to her about her career and how she launched it and how she maintains it. And she has a heck of a set of pipes, right? She just blew out all our mics and everything a moment ago. Well, Cristina, welcome to Let Them Talk. We're really glad to have you on the show.
Well, thank you so much, Paul.
Great.
It's delightful to be here. And also, we both have a lot of vowels in our last names. So
absolutely.
Today, I did a few shows that were French and, different backgrounds, but here you are.
Right. Finally, at the end of the day.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
You found another Italian. And Italian-American. Right?
Yes.
And so welcome to Let Them Talk, and maybe we should begin by telling me, well, first I guess I can show some of these pictures. This show just gives you an idea of you're like a very famous person. Look at all these celebrities. Who are all these people? You say over here.
Okay, well, of course, that's the great, inimitable Tony Bennett.
I know, right.
And
there's, what's his name?
Mickey Rooney.
Mickey Rooney. I'm sorry, I didn't.
Mickey
I
Rooney.
should know. Yeah.
They asked me to sing. They invited me to sing at Mickey Rooney's 90th birthday party at Feinstein's at the Regency Hotel.
Oh, wow.
And that's a picture of that incredible evening.
Wow. And where is this? This looks like at a government agency or something. What's this location?
That I sang at the inauguration of President George W. Bush.
Oh, really?
So that was it from that evening when I sang there.
That's interesting. And who's this? I mean, a lot of these are familiar faces, but I'm not sure. Who's that?
That is Pat Boone.
That's Pat Boone.
I met with him in his Hollywood office. I had to tell him something very important, and we had a wonderful meeting that day.
Does he still wear white shoes?
He was
famous for that, right?
I don't know.
He's famous for the white shoes.
Was he really?
Yes, yes, as well as his voice and as an entertainer.
Yeah.
And everything. Great, and another famous face. I'm not sure.
Oh, my friend, I would have to say Danny Aiello. He's a friend
that's
of
Danny
many.
Aiello. That is Danny Aiello. See, my eyes aren't that great. Oh, great! You're right. Oh my God.
He's a terrific guy, and
I love him. He's a great
he
actor.
came to see me. I was singing at the, which I've done for years, at the St. Anne's Festival in Hoboken, New Jersey, which many wonderful entertainers, including himself, have appeared at, and Frank Sinatra through the years.
Wow.
And I've been a regular there. And Danny came that evening
to
my show.
Wow.
And that's where that
Congratulations.
comes
That's
from.
great. So you guys are very interesting folks. Who's over here? And you have to it just feels it's hard for me to see from the light and everything.
Yeah,
Who's
sure.
this?
That's Joe Mantegna.
That's Joe Mantegna?
Yes.
Oh my God.
That was at one
there it is,
in California, Santa Monica, at the National Italian American Foundation Gala.
All right, great.
So that's where I was and singing there.
So you've been around, as they say. And here's a beautiful. I love this picture. Here's a picture of you, right? A promotional photo. It's beautiful, right? Where's that?
That actually was in Bella magazine. We did a photo shoot at Lincoln Center. And on the other side of that is the interview itself, but I don't have the whole magazine to show you.
There it is, right.
Yeah, that was just in the November issue, so it was recent.
Right, great. So, wow, I think what we should do is maybe play the video, and so we can have something to talk about, besides which is great, I mean, as far as the music that you do. So let's play the video, and then we'll come back, and we'll talk to Cristina some more. So welcome to Let Them Talk, and we'll be back in a minute.
Così
Wow. Okay, tell us a little bit about what we just heard. That's beautiful.
Well, I'm glad you like it. And in a way, it's good to set these things up. That is the famous opera aria from Tosca, and it's called Visi d'arte, visi d'amore. I lived for my art, I lived for love, and the great story of Tosca where she is a great diva in Rome, and she's in love with this painter. It's a very political period. Her lover is going to be killed. She jumps off the parapet at the end. But in this famous aria, she's saying to God, you know, why? Why? I sang for you. I brought flowers to the altar. You for the La Madonna, and you know, why are you doing this to me? So it's just really incredibly dramatic. And my favorite review in my career actually was written after a performance in Feinstein's at the Regency. It was from Forbes magazine. It said Cristina Fontanelli at Feinstein's is like seeing a cross between Maria Callas and Ethel Merman. So it's actually
you have
really,
it on here. It's on your card right there. Right?
It sums up. I mean, for your audience, I am assuming they know these people, but Maria Callas was the great opera diva that had such a tragic life and fell in love with Aristotle Onassis, and he married Jacqueline Kennedy instead, and she was like the rock star. I tell people that because in her era, you know, really the world
poor
really
Aristotle having to choose between Jackie Kennedy or Maria Callas.
Well, he really loved Maria Callas. I mean, that's the story anyway, but he wanted that fame, you know, that there was only one thing left for him. He was so rich. But, and Ethel Merman, of course, was the Broadway, incredible icon of Broadway. So actually, that's my career. I think I'm really unusual in that respect because I cross over like that.
So tell me a little bit about your career. Where were you born? Where were you from? Are you from New York, or did you move here? Or?
You mean you can't tell that I'm from New York? Because most people, my
I was
audience,
going to say my guess would have been, but I'd given up guessing a long time ago.
My audience, some fans of mine, they can't get over when I'm speaking, even though when I try to control it. But I mean, I was born in Brooklyn, Sheepshead Bay. And I love my story because my parents met in Coney Island. My mother was from Hoboken, New Jersey. And we know, of course, Frank Sinatra was born in Hoboken. So it's a great story, right? I come from Brooklyn, and I never expected to be a singer, even though my mother had a most incredible natural voice. She never sang professionally, but I wanted to be an actress. When I was 11 years old, I went to see Gone with the Wind, and Scarlett O'Hara pulled the rotten turnip or whatever that was out of the ground, said, "As God is my witness." And I said, that's what I want to do, you know, that's, and I studied. I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. I had a good voice, but I didn't expect to be a singer. And then I was in a play, believe it or not, my senior year at the Academy, which also your guests should know. So many famous people graduated. Robert Redford, even Edward G. Robinson, Anne Bancroft, Anne Hathaway, Danny DeVito. In my senior year there, they cast me in the play Awake and Sing. Isn't that amazing? Depression era by Clifford Odets. And I played the Bessie, the Jewish mama during the Depression. And the grandfather loved Enrico Caruso, so he played his records, and I heard the aria from Tosca, the tenor, during rehearsals, and then I wound up, you know, reading the libretto to Tosca. I said, wow, I can sing and I can act, which is what I really wanted to do.
Doing both at the same time in opera. And then how did you make that transition?
I started studying opera. I started studying singing. You don't have a long enough show for me to tell you my journey as a singer with my crazy Italian voice teacher in Brooklyn that used to smoke during my lessons. She was my only link to the opera world. It's actually part of my nightclub act now.
Well, tell us a little bit, because this is fascinating.
She worked in my father's office. I knew no one remotely involved in the opera field, and she was my first voice teacher, and like I said, and she would give me the most difficult, going from the low to the high. I had no knowledge of how to sing, which really wasn't good, but the thing that she did for me, she sent me down to the local church. I got my first paid singing engagement, singing Mama and Ave Maria, of course, the Ave Maria, and I got paid. and I sell in my nightclub act, I'm giving it away, that I got paid $25. And then in my nightclub act, I usually say, and I still get paid $25. So that was my first experience. Right. And what happened was I became an overqualified pop singer because I started being sent out to festivals in Wisconsin and Milwaukee. I had to pay for my voice lessons somehow. So
did you have people? You have fans there? Did people love it?
Well, they became my fans.
Right. That's great.
I sang at the
I lived in Madison for years.
Did
so
you?
Yes,
well,
absolutely.
then you might have known the great, huge Italian festa at in Milwaukee on the lake there.
Oh yeah, Milwaukee.
Oh my goodness, I sang there for years.
Yeah. Oh wow. Right.
But because I went to the Midwest, I couldn't just sing, opera or Italian songs. I started adding Broadway show tunes to my shows and from The Sound of Music and Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And I learned, then I went to the Catskill Mountains on the Borscht Belt. And I learned.
To the Concord, right?
The Concord, the Raleigh, all the granite, all these hotels.
I used to love the paint. The guy who could paint really fast. Oh, what was his name? I'm trying to remember. The guy who could paint. He was really fast, and everybody used to.
I vaguely remember
him. He was the fastest painter.
I vaguely remember that.
Right.
But I mean, I came in on the tail end of. But I paid for my voice lessons that way. But I also learned how to be an entertainer. And since my operatic background was kind of sketchy, like as far as training.
That could be a tough audience at the Concord, right?
Let me tell you something.
With all their kids and everything, too.
I learned how to entertain an audience.
Yeah.
I really did. That's where I learned. And I paid for my opera lessons, but my career really went in a direction of being an operatic entertainer. I love the opera. I have sung with the Palm Beach Opera. I've sung at the Cairo Opera. I've received very fine reviews in the New York Times for my operatic performances. But because of my background and not having an elite background or enough money, I had to support myself, and I wound up supporting myself as an entertainer more than,
working in opera, which could be a struggle, right?
It can be very gratifying, but very difficult for someone that doesn't have the backing, So I was hired, one of my first jobs was as soprano soloist with the Mantovani Orchestra, and he had already passed.
I remember him.
Mantovani.
I know my mother had a few of his records.
He became well known. He was already gone by the time I sang with the orchestra, but he became well known for his arrangements, which used violins, and cascading strings, and he
very
sold
deep,
millions of records.
Yes, very popular, and the records were everywhere growing up, right? And so, okay, great. So, tell us a little bit about what are you doing now? So, this is an opportunity to tell the listeners where they could learn more about your work and stuff. Go
Absolutely.
ahead.
Now, please, you can log on. You put it on the screen. I think my name. You can read more about me on my website.
Just add .com to your name.
Yeah.
And
CristinaFontanelli.com.
Christina with CRISTIN.
And recently, they may have seen me actually on PBS. I've been hosting some of the shows for Andrea Bocelli in Central Park, etc. But as a singer, I've traveled all over the world. I just got back from Italy, for example, invited by the Italian government, the region of Puglia.
Okay,
because my grandparents are from there. And every year I have an annual Italian Christmas concert show.
Puglia is in the south, right?
Puglia is in the south, on the Adriatic coast.
On the Adriatic coast.
Across from Greece.
Yes. My family's on the near Naples mostly.
Well, my father's side is near Naples.
Right.
So you'll be interested, and I hope you can come this year. It won't be again until next December, but it's called Christmas in Italy. And I started it 12 years ago, and it's grown and grown and grown to preserve the great songs of Italy.
And you have to explain that Italians have fish for Christmas dinner.
They should. If you're lucky, if you get invited to,
the real thing,
or you do it yourself in your house. But we have the mandolins, the accordion, the guitar. And the last several years, also I have the article. Actually, I'm going to bend over and get the article from the Epoch Times, which I'm very proud of. The Epoch Times newspaper.
Okay.
We used.
I'll hold it up.
We had 3 New York City public schools, so you can see where it says preserving values through opera, and
on the left there, right? I'll fold it over.
And on the bottom, you can, if you open it.
Yeah.
If you open it, you'll see the picture of the public school.
Oh, there it is. Right. There it is. Good.
If
So
you
down
can-
here, right.
The children on my Christmas in Italy, which I was so very happy.
Cool.
That is part of my mission as an artist, to have children perform, pass down the values, because I'm very disturbed by what's in the media. I don't know how far I can go with all of this. I'm trying, and it's getting attention.
Well, the kids seem to really love it. How do they respond?
Oh, they love it.
This
They
is
love
a
it.
local elementary school in the city?
Yes, 3 actually.
Uh-huh.
One was from Staten Island, doing singing in sign language even, and we had them singing, dancing.
Oh, great.
And and it gives them happy memories, with family type memories. And
Sure.
I have coming up in New York in May, May 2nd, I started something called the Great International Songbook. I sing in 9 languages,
Oh, wow.
and also to use the ethnic instruments.
Do you actually speak 9 languages?
I don't. I speak Italian the best because I use it the most. I'm
Right.
fluent in Italian. I've studied French, and it would be really good if I used it more often.
Right.
I've studied German. I do speak some Japanese. I sing in Japanese. I sing in Korean and Yiddish and German, and you know.
I heard before me you were singing together with Mr. Taylor.
Well, I
Michael
was
Taylor.
invited. I just happened to mention when I heard who he was and how he
Yeah.
saved so many people in the Holocaust. I mentioned that I sing in Yiddish, and they said, "Come on a show." So I just sang the songs
Right.
I know in Yiddish on
Sing
his
something in Yiddish
show.
for us. Sing something in Yiddish for us. We rarely ever get to hear Yiddish language.
Would you like to hear
Yes,
that?
I would love to hear something in Yiddish.
Because I'm also trying to preserve that language,
Yes.
even though it's not my heritage.
It's a wonderful language,
Because
I know.
this
But it's
is-
still a beautiful language.
I will sing a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll sing the Yiddish Mama. I sing Mama in Italian all the
Yeah.
time. And when I'm asked to, Yiddish Mama, there's nothing better in the world. Through water and fire, she will take care of her children. So this is the basis of this song. Oh, Yiddish Mama, es gibt nichts besser auf der Welt. Oh, Yiddish Mama, oi, wie bitter, wenn sie fällt. Wie schön und lichtig ist ein Haus, wenn der Mamas du. Wie treurig finster wird, wenn Gott nimmt auf einem Habu. Im Wasser und Feuer wollt sie gelaufen vor ihr Kind. Nicht halten ihr teuer, dass es gewiss die Christen sind. Oi, wie glücklich und reich ist der Mensch, was hat, als schöne Tone geschenkt wie in Gott. Nur ein jüdische
That was great. Now, I love to hear in Italian too, but we know there's 60 million people who speak Italian. There's not too many people who speak Yiddish left. So I'm glad you're preserving that.
I did learn Yiddish singing in the Catskill Mountains because I always felt it was important to sing in the native tongue of who I'm performing for. So.
Right. And, I don't know if folks know, but there's a long intertwining history of Italians and Jewish people going back, 3,000 years or something?
I would
right,
say
to go
so.
just read about the Roman Empire and all of that, and who
Exactly.
ran the Roman Empire and all that. So
We're all
it's
paisan.
I know, really, it's a long connection. And so that's great. And I want to hear also you sing in Italian as well.
Oh,
I know.
do I
Mickey, you
sing in
said-
Italian?
Of course you do,
I
right?
paid my rent
Yes.
for years, my
Right.
whole life.
What's the most
for
popular
Italian.
song that you sing in Italian?
By far, the most requested song is Mama. the most famous song, I guess, would be O Sole Mio, which I sing all the time. And I guess that would be most requested because I sing it all the time. They don't have to request it.
Is that like Blue Danube? But it's like I'm part Hungarian as well. And so
are you?
Yes, my mom was Hungarian.
For
my dad was
sake.
Italian, right? And
We'll have to sing you a Shardash the next time.
I love Shardash. Yeah, I love it too, right? So we could go crazy here. There's a lot of stuff.
We could.
We cover a lot of, and how all these cultures that make up New York, the wonderful mosaic that is New York City of all these different cultures, and more coming in every day. We're going to have to get you singing Spanish and everything later on, and all the other languages and all the African languages that people speak. When I was teaching in the school, people coming from Mali and all these places. And so New York is an amazing, still, it never ends. I
love New York.
A wonderful mosaic that could support all this culture, all these different things.
I love New York,
there's few places in the world that are like it.
No places that I know of.
People coming from all over the world for it. To experience, to see the multicultural.
I feel like one of the blessings of my life is to live in New York City. Mm-hmm. I love the city.
Right, and you've traveled the world.
Oh, I have traveled the world.
You come back here every time.
I have traveled the world. Mm-hmm. And I mean, there's beautiful places in the world. I love Greece. I go out to California regularly now to sing San Diego, and I mean, it's very beautiful, but I can't wait to come back to New York. Mm-hmm. The energy here is amazing. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, it's unbelievable. It's never.
Where else do you walk?
It always makes life go by so fast. I mean, like you're having so much fun, and it's like 20 years goes by.
Exactly. I mean, what other city in the world? I mean, I don't know of one, but I came in here today at 2:00 for an appointment for a television show, and I have now been on that show, a Yiddish show, your show.
Right.
I mean, incredibly intelligent people. With your background is amazing as a journalist and in the media. And here I have never met you before, and here I sit in New York City. It's
no end to it, and it's exciting. Everybody's got a great backstory, and everywhere, and so thank goodness we're here, and thank goodness you're here to join us and to share all this great culture with us, because I know our audience loves it. And we only have a few more minutes, so I don't know. Did you want to play the video?
Whatever you would like.
I'd like to actually, since you're here with us and your voice is so beautiful, if you don't mind, and if I'm not straining your voice.
No, I'm not straining it at all.
Great. I don't want to.
But I do want to tell your audience again.
Yes.
Please log on to my website.
Let's do that.
We come on these shows so that hopefully we grow our audience. I would like you very much, if you don't mind, to write to me at Cristina at CristinaFontanelli.com is my personal email address. So please write to me, Cristina at CristinaFontanelli.com, and join my mailing list. Please, we'd love to meet you at my next performance, public performance. And in my mama's honor, and in your honor because of you and your last name, this song means you are my sunshine. So I'm going to leave you with some of the phrases of this great Neapolitan song.
Thank you so much for that. That was wonderful, wonderful, and it's very unusual for us to have that here and to have such a wonderful live performance. Maybe not that unusual, but it's pretty unusual. So great, Cristina Fontanelli. Tell us, you have CDs. How can folks find your CDs and things like that?
Okay. Well, my CDs, please log on to my website.
Yeah.
They're on iTunes, on my website at my live performances, and not so many stores, really. Only if I'm going into the town to sing.
Are there stores that sell records anymore?
I
left?
know,
Is that
exactly.
We were just discussing that.
Specialty novelty
Right. Everything's over the internet.
You know
now.
where they do sell it? I want to give him a plug right now. Is Ernie Rossi in Little Italy? God bless him. If you'd like to see an interesting store, go in Ernie Rossi in Little Italy.
We don't usually plug program shows.
Oh, you're not supposed to.
But that's all right.
It's historic.
Yeah, a historic place like that is different. That's another. We're not competing here. We're not.
It's really historic.
Yes. Ernie Rossi
he has my CDs in the shop.
Great, that's wonderful. And okay, we have 2 more minutes. Tell us a little bit about Brooklyn Girl Makes Good, travels the world.
Well, actually, I do want to tell you this. We only have a minute. The highlight of my career, as far as my personal honor, so to speak, was singing at the presidential inaugural ball. Did I tell you in the inauguration? I sang at the White House for
right.
President
I was going to ask you about that. You mentioned that.
And at the inauguration of President Bush,
Both
President
Clinton,
George W. Bush.
Clinton and the second Bush.
Yes.
Right.
And the White House was amazing, but the energy at the inauguration was incredible. I highly recommend if anybody can ever attend a presidential inauguration. It's just amazing.
Everything is very much. I imagine there would be a lot of. Everything's done historically. Everything's done traditionally.
Oh yes,
in a certain specific way.
The spirit, the energy, the excitement that you're at the primary function of the United States of America. To elect the president of the United States, so it's really,
right.
really.
And people feel that. That's where whatever your politics are, when you're
whatever your politics.
I know it's like I would say. People say, "What do you think of the president?" Well, President George W. Bush got out of his limo and came over to you and started to shake your hand. It's Mr. President, right?
Well, and also
it's the way it is. It's just the way it is.
Got a lot more respect for public figures of any kind because, in particular, that day was freezing. I mean, freezing, and they have so much that they have to sacrifice. Stand in the cold and the rain and the high heels. I don't know, whatever. But
that's interesting. I think that's fascinating, and that you had that opportunity was great.
That was
2
amazing.
times. That's great. Are you gonna? How about this time coming up?
Well, you never know.
The best,
I mean, really.
Right. How to come? We don't have time because now I want to ask you why they chose you to come up there to the White House.
And we don't have time now.
Yeah,
probably,
we don't have to.
Right?
We'll talk about that another time.
Back.
So thank you very much, Cristina Fontanelli, for joining us,
Thank you, Paul.
We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye bye.